One thing that I've grown up realizing is that there have been some very, very good teachers as well as some very, very bad teachers. When you have a good teacher, it's almost always easy to learn. But unfortunately, there are just way too many bad teachers. Way too many bad teachers. I closed down when I was in elementary school, when I was in high school, even in university, when somebody didn't have the knack for teaching. How can something like this be fixed? I ask myself, but I actually know the answer already, but I can just say, right now, there are just too many bad teachers out there. I don't know how they have connections, how they become teachers in the first place. Do they have connections in the school? How do they get to be there if they're that bad? I don't understand it. So what I'm suggesting now, and this is what I've realized for a long time now, is that people who want to become teachers have to take a test. They have to be psychologically examined, and they have to take a written test, and they have to say exactly what kind of teaching they want to do. Because otherwise, they might end up in a totally wrong class and being unhappy and teaching the kids badly anyway. So you have to make sure the test shows which person, if they are capable to be a teacher at all, which person belongs in which class. Where does their creativity, where does their talent lie? You shouldn't put somebody who's good at math teaching history, or somebody who is good at art teaching, English. You should have somebody that's good at English and understands how to teach English. You should have someone that's good at math to teach math. You should have someone that's good at art to teach art. We have to be able to test the people that want to become teachers. We cannot force bad teachers on kids. Kids have enough trouble with their own parents that aren't ready to be parents, but no, once they get to school, they should have the environment where they can learn what they need to learn, what's important to them in life, so that we can have a better society. This would automatically create a better society. If kids were you could even filter kids at a younger age. The kids themselves, filter them out, finding out what they're good at. I mean, I can give one quick example. There was a young girl in a classroom. I won't tell you her name right now. She was in a classroom, and the teacher said to the mother, called the mother up and said, "Your daughter needs to go into a special school." Well, the mother was very upset about this, and she took the little girl to a psychiatrist instead. Well, the psychiatrist, the mother, and the little girl talked for a while. The girl was always fidgeting, but it was okay. The psychiatrist talked to her, and after a while, the psychiatrist said to the mom, "Can we just go out in the hall and talk a bit?" Well, after a while, they were talking, and I forgot to say this. The psychologist or psychiatrist had already turned on the radio so the girl wouldn't feel alone. So anyway, they went out in the hall and they were talking for a while, and the psychiatrist just happened to glance through the window in the door and saw the girl moving really rhythmically to the music. Well, that girl, I'm almost going to cry when I say this now. This girl called Gillian Lynn went on to be a professional ballerina. And then she was the choreographer for Cats and for Phantom of the Opera. So all I'm trying to say here is that it's very important to know about kids, about their aptitude at the very beginning. Because then our world would be so much better place if the kids were put into places where they could be taught in the right way, and they knew that they were supposed to be learning that thing that they're good at. We can filter them out in any number of buckets. We can find out at an early age, is somebody good at music? Is somebody good at art? Is somebody good at English? Is somebody good at writing? Whatever it is, find out what they're good at, and then have a teaching system that will further that. Just think what kind of a world we would have then. It would be a very, very different world, I assure you. I'm sorry that I had to cry. I really am, but I'm very emotional about this. I mean, I got one more story I'll tell you. I have to say this because it's a similar thing. There was a man of Russian descent named Viktor Suribakov. I forgot to say the woman that became so famous was Gillian Lynn. But this man was called Viktor Suribakov, and he was labeled a dunce as a kid, as a kindergartner. They called him a dunce, and then the original, the first few years, they all said you should just be a street worker. Just go out and be a manual laborer. Well, after he did manual labor for a while, he joined the army. And fortunately for Victor, I'm going to start crying. I'm sorry. Fortunately for Victor, they did an IQ test. Victor was found to have an IQ of 185 and became the president of the genius organization called Mensa. So if nothing else can convince you that it's important to test kids at a young age, I don't know what else can. But thank you for listening.